Everybody, happy Monday. I guess if you call it happy. Anyway, hey Donald, we got Svinborn, Ivan, Rob, Mark, John, Darren, Ed, Frank, Terry, Dan, Don, Gary, Craig, Serge, Diane, Matt, Will, Scott, Jason, Ted, and Marianne. Welcome to the show, everybody. Oh my goodness. Hope you had a good weekend. Kimberly, my favorite subscriber in the chat. Favorite subscriber. How's everybody doing? So, welcome to the show. And if you haven't been up on current events in the past few weeks, I've talked about the short dollar trade being the most crowded trade by big smart money, I guess you might say, not knowing how to put it otherwise. So short dollar, anything but the dollar trade, I've talked about this for a couple weeks. It's kind of the big reoccurring theme right now. And what happens if there's a short squeeze in that trade? What might kick it off? Well, let's talk about it. Right now, all around the world, financial doctors, if you will, they're prescribing more sugar to a market that's already been bouncing off the walls with a sugar high. One of my, one of the other gurus loves to call the markets, is a sugar high market. He loves to talk about that. And, we've got the S&P 500 up 13% this year. Gold hitting records, seems like weekly. Right now, roughly $3,790, almost $3,800 an ounce. Silver up a ridiculous 56% so far. Platinum, ridiculous too. Bitcoin doing well. Bitcoin things. We've been up, we've been down, swinging all around. And what's the response from the old wise central bankers that, set the rates and try to control this thing a little bit anyway? 168. That's what they did. 168. That's the number of times that central banks somewhere in the world have cut interest rates in the past year. 168 times. It's the third highest number of cuts we've seen, right behind the 2008 financial crisis and the COVID pandemic. Think about that for just a minute. I'm sure everything's going to be great, right? It's a party, everybody. The punch bowl is spiked with the cheapest money we've seen in years. And all of this leads to a giant, flashing neon sign for the market. It's the biggest, most crowded trade on the planet right now. It's called the short dollar trade. Simple terms, just about everybody in the world is betting that the US dollar is going to get weaker and go down further. It's kind of like the entire world is on one side of a giant seesaw, waiting for the big mama to come tip it. And for a good reason. When you print this much money, well, when you make it so easy to borrow, the value of that currency tends to go down. It's kind of like basic economics here. I mean, I talk about it ad nauseum almost every day. But here's the billion-dollar question. What happens if the seesaw doesn't tip? What if there's no big mama? What if a big burly guy named Strong U.S. Economy suddenly jumps on the other side? That, my friends, is what the big shot analysts are calling a disorderly unwind. It's the one thing that could turn this beautiful, liquidity-fueled party into a frantic game of musical chairs. There's a very magic number to watch on the DXY chart. That's the dollar index. That number, 102. If the dollar gets stronger and breaks that level, a lot of people are going to be left holding a very very expensive short dollar bag. So, how do we, the savvy investors, potentially play this contrarian play? How do we make sure we have a seat at the table when the music stops? Well, first, the most obvious hedge that bizarrely very few people actually own: gold. Gold sitting at over $3,700 an ounce, a record high. And get this, less than 0.5% of private client assets, less than 0.5%, 0.5% of private client assets are in gold. It's like knowing the answer to the final exam, but being too cool to write it down and get the answer right. And don't forget, it's a wilder, crazier, more party, volatile cousin, silver, up over 50% this year. It's the investment equivalent of a friend who always has a little bit too much fun at the parties. I've said, coming into this year, silver was probably the biggest trade of the year. If you remember, I said it a lot of times. Now, second, you can ride the bubble. That's right. I said it's a bubble. The Magnificent Seven tech stocks up over 200% off their lows. Their PE sky high, 39 on average. Here's the thing about bubbles. They can keep going way longer than makes sense or you think or defies all logic. The last big tech bubble peaked at a PE ratio of 58. So we're only like halfway there. So, are we saying mortgage the house, sell the kids, go all in? No. But you don't have to marry the stock. Let's just take it out for a dance or two. Finally, for contrarians in the room, there's the barbell strategy we've talked about. While everybody else is chasing shiny tech stocks, you can quietly load up on the boring stuff, the cheap, the unloved, the distressed value stocks. I'm talking about places like Brazil trading at a PE of 9. United Kingdom, PE of 13. Even global energy stocks, measly 13 PE. And if you really want to get spicy, there's thematic plays everybody's talking about, but not very many people are actually invested in them. Uranium, URA, that's a way to play. Defense stocks, rare earth metals, anything AI related. I mean, you're here, you probably have some exposure to this stuff, right? But not very many people actually do. We keep hearing about it, but not many people are grabbing a piece. They're like, maybe I'll wait and see. And this is the part of the portfolio that won't get you invited to the cool parties, but might pay for a retirement home. So there you have it, everybody. The world is making massive one-sided bets against the dollar. Should be interesting. The Fed is keeping the party going, and you got a choice. You can follow the herd, you can bet against it, or you can build a portfolio that's ready for just about anything. Buckle up, Buttercup. This market's the only thing more dangerous than being right at the wrong time. Stay irrational way longer, you stay solvent. And right now, this kind of feels like we're all passengers on a rocket ship destined for a committee of lunatics. But hey, at least the view and the entertainment's fun, right? So, how do we make the money today? Well, Nuggets, check your internet. Did I lose y'all? Are you still here? Hopefully. It says I'm live. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Be careful out there. You trade that stuff, you might lose money. I make predictions. Sometimes they come true, sometimes not. Sometimes I get lucky, maybe more often than not. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. We'll see what happens. I got a big thing that says check your internet, but the frame count and everything's still going up, so I don't know. I'm glad everybody's still with me. And let's see what we can do here. So, guess what? On the calendar, today, tomorrow, we're at the end of the road here. End of Q3. Q4 starts Wednesday. Q4 starts on Wednesday. That's the last October, November, December. It's like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas for the United States. We're going to put the wraps on this baby. How's your portfolio doing? Are you up for the year? Like, this is rubber meets the road time right here. You got 3 months left. How are you doing? It's time to check it in. Time to check in. Look at it. How we doing? That's my all-time AT. Here's this, last year, 26 grand. Not too shabby. About 89% win rate. Doing pretty good. But as far as the 50K challenge goes, that number's not anywhere close to 50K. That win rate, pretty abysmal. But if we look at what I've been doing, click on the trades button. I've been rolling forward some stuff like DLTR, rolled it forward, took a loss, but cashed it out. IBIT, rolled it forward, took a loss, but probably cash it out, especially with Bitcoin moving up a little bit. That was a hedge. Didn't pay out. Darn. Market didn't flush out. That's the way you like insurance, right? Speaking of insurance, y'all believe somebody crashed into my well house, knocked the wall down? It's a concrete building, like concrete block building. Somebody smashed into it and then drove away. Pulled into my property, backed up, knocked the building down, and then drove off. Crazy. So, gotta deal with that. It's like when they tore up my driveway, What the heck is going on? Just can't get ahead in this world. People tearing up your crap. Anyway. I digress. Anyway, we've got Q2 coming up. Q4 coming up. Excuse me, Q2. Q4, the end of the EV tax credit. Basically got 2 days left to make your deal. If you want an EV, you want a battery and electric vehicle, you want to get a tax credit for it, you got till tomorrow. Sign the deal and put some money down. You can take delivery after that, but you got to put the money down. Got to have a signed contract according to the IRS. So not really much of anything coming up today and tomorrow. Wednesday looked pretty benign too. Maybe some non-farm employment change. Thursday, pretty benign. And then Friday, we get the big jobs report. This is what got the BLS head fired a couple months back. Get the next edition of that. And there you go. So that's what we got this week. Not a lot of fireworks, but big earnings. Man, not a lot of fireworks, but I got a lot of alerts rolling through. And let's see. See if anything's interesting behind my face here. Just roll through a couple of these. Oh. And nothing particularly spicy. That's interesting. It threw gap up there. Tesla. Look at her go. Coming up into that resistance. Now, Wrongimer. I've got security cameras. I mean, I don't know what that's going to help, though. Like when somebody just pulls in your property, backs up, smashes your well house, and then drives off. You know, what do you do? It was a mower for one of my neighbors, so well, it's not like, I mean, whatever. Anyway, this baby coming up into that resistance. This was a big kind of squeeze. I call it a watermelon seed squeeze when you got lower highs and higher lows. And typically when we pop out of that squeeze, we go the width of the mouth out of the breakout. That's coming up. The only thing is, like, is the breakout here or was the breakout up here? And it gives us a little bit of range. Split the difference, put it right in the middle. And I've been saying roughly 450 is the resistance there. Now, we don't have to stop there. We can keep cruising. Targets 550, 600 on the upside. They're selling crap loads of cars. They've got like Gigafactory in Texas, in Austin down there. It's got like 2 parking lots full of Ys that they're setting up 24-hour delivery. Like, you can come pick up your car 24 hours a day, and they're actually sending out robo taxis to pick people up, bring them to pick up their car. I mean, sounds like a lot of cars. So they may surprise to the upside this quarter. Probably will surprise to the upside as far as deliveries go, profits go. But then the next, Elon was warning the next, 3 quarters next year, probably going to be, even the 4th quarter this year, probably going to be a little dismal until Robotaxi really ramps up. So we may see it pull back after a pop. Now, there's a lot of money flowing into options for this upcoming earnings. People buying in November, December, January, even out further. Millions and I'm seeing giant block orders, millions of dollars of premium, not usually when we talk about millions of dollars of options, we're talking about the unwind the price of the options, that notional value. But this is millions of dollars of premium, and it. I watch Cheddar Flow. I have a few tools for dark pools and things like that, but I watch Cheddar Flow on X, and they're putting out some. They're like, we've never seen this much call buying in Tesla before, ever. So something crazy is about to potentially happen, or maybe crazy, disappointing. I don't know. Contrarian play. So I am long Tesla. I have thousands of shares of TSLL. If you don't have a piece, maybe consider a piece. The hype train's going to last at least for another couple weeks. They are reporting earnings on the 15th. Probably have delivery numbers out by Friday. Maybe Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there. Probably get some delivery numbers. Now, remember what I said, though. They could ride this sugar train into Q4 a little bit if they close deals, have signed contracts, down payments. The IRS lets you take those tax credits as long as you have the contract down, and you can take delivery into October. So, anyway, I have an eyewitness, Mike. I don't know exactly who it was, but I got an eyewitness that, I can't point to like you were the one, but we know who's responsible. It's a company. We know who done it. At least company-wise. It was a mowing company. So, ES overnight. Well, it's been on a tear. Wasn't slowing down. A little bit of hiccup this morning here right at the open, but probably going on out. Kind of talked about this upside potential here. 76, 76, 76, or 67. Say the words in the right order. 67, 67, 67, 76. 67.93. That's the targets. Doesn't have to happen today. Could happen overnight. Look at how little period of time the market's actually open versus the overnight. Overnight versus a little bit of open action. Big overnight. A little bit of open action. Look at those flushes during the open action though. Whew. Flush there and recovery. Could flush and recover. We'll see what happens. In Q. Same kind of story. Looks like we might want to come back down. Boy, look at that volatility. Open market volatility, kind of benign at night. Now, they put it right back up here, coming into the open. So, watch out for a pullback. That's what I would say today. Looking at everything coming in, we could get a pullback. It could come back, revisit the close from Friday, which just the 15-minute roadmap line right there before we come back up. S&P cash. Well, if we get the close up here today, confirms we're probably coming on out. 67.18, 67.35. That would be the next upside resistance. I would expect before we get more shenanigans. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be, shenanigans on the way there. Russell did not pop out yet. So we still have, we ground that high. And still on the climb. Still on the climb. My hand, look at that. Did the same move. It must be the place in the my wrist there. Trying to move the mouse. Looking for that pop right there. 2,600. Likely the targets. Then we can top out. So look at the RSP. It's equal weighted S&P. I've kind of speculated that we might see this pop here before it rolls. Probably going to get a bigger pullback, but probably going to hit some upside targets first. Could be 194, 199. Let's check in on the market dashboard really quickly. Let's see S5TW. Turn this off log mode. Well, that was, so check it out. That was good enough. Pop a new high. That was good enough. Pop a new high. That's good enough to pop a new high. So we've recharged enough potentially with this pullback. Take it back to the top. S5FI. So stocks above the 50-day probably on a trend down here and toward the end of the year. S5TH. We may see this pull back, especially if S5FI pulls back. But we're probably set for revisiting the top after being at the bottom here. So Sugar Train, probably not done yet, but there you go. Despite NASDAQ being at highs, stocks above their 20-day in the NASDAQ, kind of not great, actually. So very little participation. And this looks like could flush down. But that could be recharged and we could go back up, make a high. Or we did that. We've done that before over here. before we did the bigger flush. So we might see another pop and then take a trip down here into the end of the year. It's kind of what things are indicating here. And a lot of softness here, and probably, indicate we may see some softness into the end of the year. That's what this is all looking like. And then NASDAQ stocks above their 200. Look, wow. We have not topped out since back in January 24. We have not been up to that 80 line. Russell, we topped it out, pulling back. We can make a low in this vicinity. It's entirely possible. Takes back up to the top. But we're probably gonna have a date with the bottom here at some point. R2FI. I topped out back here in June, and we've been working on coming down. So this will probably make a bottom. Yeah, all three indexes here lining up on that medium 50-day moving average term there for some weakness into the end of the year. It's kind of a caution. Now, does it have to happen? No, it doesn't have to. Nothing ever has to happen. But then, longer term, wow, look how long it's been since this one. This was last up here in 2021. Wow. But it spends prolonged periods without topping it out. So it's just the nature of this particular one. The Russell and stocks above their 200-day. Move, still pushing lower. Everything's still okay for now. And DGS2, it's hanging with my homies. Oh, y'all want to see something cool? I learned about this weekend I was digging in here. Now, if we hold that roadmap line, that's beautiful. Beautiful. We got to get through the resistance, but check this out. So everybody was talking about how I got to refresh the chart. Everybody was talking about how September is super bearish for Bitcoin, right? I mean, I heard that. I don't know how many times I heard that. Like, Bitcoin usually pulls back, blah, 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 blah. Check this out. Right here. You can pull up every year on Bitcoin. You're like, wow, look at those runs. Right? I mean, that's some massive runs. Percent-wise, 2010 was a good one. 2013, 2011. Now, look at this, though. I just found this tool. You come over here, you click on seasonal, adjust the scale to pick up all the history. Click on table. Look at this right here. September, right? Out of all the years, 16 years Bitcoin's been around, 12 of them are green. That's not very bearish. Now, July, on the other hand, 11 years, red. So July is kind of the bad one. September is kind of a good one. October, kind of good. Not nearly as good as September, but so we'll find out what we actually get here. Do we add one to the negative or do we add one to the positive? Look over here, another 12 years. January, even though we were red this year, likely to get green in January. Even on years where we had crypto winter. I think that's fascinating. I think this was like a cool find. I think look at this. By year, you can see the kind of underperforming here this year so far. Look at those numbers. 1,300%. Kind of benign so far this year. You can do this for pretty much everything too. I see gold. Guess what? Not gonna do futures. Awesome. We look at GLD though. Probably have to close it and reopen it. They have this stuff for like everything. Oh, of course, the morning data outage for what the heck. Good grief. Alerts like crazy. It's not just stock alerts. Like people are messaging me. Anyway, so that's cool. The tool stopped working. Pull that up again in a minute. Circle back around. S&P. Yeah. Let's go. So gold. Wow, what a candle. Better go. Crazy. There we go. There's the seasonals. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. It only goes back 5 years on this one, on the futures, but not bad. Let's see what GLD let us pull up. You get 21 years, 22, yeah, 20, 21 years. Well, looks like end of the year is usually pretty good on gold. Even, look at that. So September through January. Pretty bullish on average on gold. It's a seasonality. I find this fascinating. Another one that's interesting. Let's see if we can pull it up. Check it out. Typically, November, October is usually negative for volatility, despite people saying, oh, we usually get some volatility. Guess what? September is usually volatile. 20 out of 20 with 15. October usually chilling back out, but November picking up again. Earnings maybe. So we're likely to see reduced volatility coming into October, just statistically wise. Look at this: February down, March down, April, like February through May usually kind of chill in the market or reduced volatility. Anyway, I thought this was kind of interesting. Cool tool they threw in here. And you can look at the, where's the big spikes? Where's the big volatility? As we can see, this spike over here, top of the list, should be 2020. Yeah, 563%. That'd be 2020. But where's the other big spikes? We had this one back here. This one in here. So there's your market corrections for the last 35 years. All the big spikes. Kind of neat. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think that some crap matters. So I don't really think the government shutdown. I'll talk more about it tomorrow, but I don't really think that matters much at all. You can think it matters, but typically when we look back at history, every time they shut the government down, the market went higher. So market seems to like shutdowns, even though it's like, oh my gosh, you're on fire. So Bitcoin, looking for this to break higher, get through the 618. If we can do that, well, bigger upside. Now, the thing to watch, though, turning off of this, turning down here, can put us down lower low. And that could get all the way down here, below 100,000. Well, that's the thing to watch. We need to push through this zone right there and keep going. If we reject off this, not looking too good. Ethereum, this really, like, so first move down, retrace, second move down, we stopped in the perfect spot, but this really looks like we're going to get extension right there. Be careful. NKD just, wow, that just paused. It's like somebody hit pause on the rally at the 1618. Imagine that. So this, it did test back down in here and then sitting here, winding up for the next pop. Next pop probably put us up around 48,000, if not 49,000. Be a big upside. Dollar coming back down to test the breakouts. We've got the roadmap line coming down. And I was speculating that we may kind of grind this around until we get up here sometime later in October. Now, if we break down below this downtrend of highs, game on for coming on back down. Now, the magic level for big short squeeze, 102. That's way on up there. Apple sitting here trying to break out. If we start down, we're going to come back to the roadmap line. If we get below that, coming on down. If we can pop out, 273 on the upside. Maybe even 276. Amazon looking to hold the roadmap line here. If we do, odds are we're going to pop out, get to 257. But if we start pushing below that roadmap line, the downside, very real, coming back down to the 150, 160 area. Google, 263. That's been the target. Meta, back to test the breakout again. If we get below it, coming on down here. And if we get below that, bigger, deeper retrace probably underway. Microsoft still got resistance at 530 and support down here at the breakout zone down here between 470 and 490. If we get below that, well, wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that was a 62% upside. Wouldn't surprise me to correct that. Possibly back down. Let's see. Draw the right. Get the right tool. So that puts a target zone right here on a retrace. If we get below the roadmap line, get below that zone, puts the target down to here. If we do a bigger correction toward the end of the year, that could be where Microsoft heads. The good news, that sets us up for a big rally, though, from there, potentially. Sets it up. It can choose to take it or not choose to take it. NVIDIA, if we can break through this 1 high, 2 high, 3 high, 4 high, 5 high, this will be the 6th attempt. If we break through, upside 212, possibly even up to 220. Tesla. Ooh, pulling back a little bit. But we already kind of went through the levels. 550, 611. Resistance here at 450, though. You can see it's grinding. Having some trouble pushing on through right here. That's coincidentally the same level where we stopped on the way down. get on through. We may have a little resistance right up there. But if we can push through that, 550 on the upside. Netflix. Dude, don't trade that garbage. Watch for that downside. So I go pull all the gainers. There's like 100 of them today. Things that were up $2 or more in the pre-markets. MRUS. Wow. Topping out. App loving. Hitting targets. We're getting ripe for a pullback here. GDXU. Hitting targets. LEU. Hitting targets. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I gotta turn this stupid thing off. That magnet tool is gonna drive me crazy. So we got 360 potential on that one. ASML. Wow, we're in the target zone. Imagine that. Be careful out there. This can take a turn down. Now we could push it on out to 1200, but yeah, be careful on that one. Fofo got no roadmap line, not enough price action to do anything with. Spotify, caution. This is a bearish potential pattern here for continuation down here to the mid 500s. Lockheed Martin. Boy, look at that rip. That's kind of crazy. Gap down and just, that's almost like somebody pushing it higher every day, no matter what. If we can get back above the 618s, watch for a pop out. EA going private. No trade here. If you didn't know, they're being acquired, I guess, or taking, sees a record buyout deal. Electric Art being acquired, a $55 billion deal. Infinity Partners, the video game maker, acquired by an investor consortium. The video game maker confirmed Monday it will be acquired by Saudi Arabia's PIF. Blah, 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 blah. Record merger. Leveraged buyout. Largest leveraged buyout right there for video games. So no real trade here. Nothing to do, nothing to see here, folks. EA going away. JNUG coming into resistance. ALAB coming back down to the roadmap line. Leveraged. AVAV hitting targets. 317, 350, a bigger target up there around 460. Oklo probably needs a pullback. Futu probably needs a pullback. Baba can still go higher. We're getting above the 618s. So even though on the daily chart it's looking kind of over the skis, on the bigger picture, bigger trend here, this can come all the way up to 400. Massive upside potential. I'm staying long KWeb. Look at that pop on out. I want this to come on up to 47, 48, 49. STX. Wow, right through the bubble. Crazy. Wow, is all I gotta say here. Got that high, got that low. Coming up into 280 would be the next upside there. Look at this a different way. Here's the low, here's the high, here's the low. Yeah, 260 and then 470 above that. I would expect resistance here, so it may come up shy. I mean, it could hit 280, but I expect resistance and a pullback before we go higher again. You know, the pullback could go back to either of these levels or neither of those levels. Leverage, leverage, leverage. SanDisk. Pushing on out there. Apex missed. So this one needs to turn and burn here. This set up something that I don't care for. Potential 1, 2, 3, 4 off the roadmap line. 5. If we do a 1, 2, 3 and stop in this vicinity right here and turn down again, that's game over. We're not going higher high here. So be careful if you're long MSTR or MSTX. It now has a potential continuation pattern for lower. And this may be the top. Now, if we get through that, more upside, but this is very important right here. I'm probably going to be lightening up my MSTX exposure in the coming weeks, especially if we get back up in here. Probably get back off of it. Coinbase, can't you just hit the roadmap line, please? I would love to see this just tag so we can go higher. But we're just going to keep grinding. It's been sitting here for all of August, all of September, getting ready to be into October. CEG came up shy of the roadmap line, but upside 365. CrowdStrike looks like we're going higher. 534, 550. Roblox, that looks like it wants to reach back down. It's been April since we've done any kind of real meaningful correction. I would be careful on that one. Korea, we can break out here, going much higher. WDC, wow. STX and WDC just rocking it higher. Nice breakout. Coming up into resistance, 131, 218 above that. And that is a beautiful pop there. And we may not stop till we're above 150 even. Could go longer than that. JFB. Yeah, I got nothing here. No roadmap line, no nothing. Nothing. Gold, yeah, crazy pop. CRDO. Watch for that to come back down. BST. Watch for that to come back to the roadmap line right there. RTX. Yeah, so a lot of defense stuff. So if you just want to get exposure to defense and you're like, I don't want to pick the winners or whatever, you come in here and buy this, baby. I mean, it's just rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. Look at the fund here. Yeah, GE Aerospace, RTX, Boeing, L3 Harris, Howmet, Lockheed Martin. You get exposure, kind of balanced portfolio across it. You got a little heavy on GE and RTX, but then you don't have to worry about it. Now, it is coming into a upside resistance and could meet a pullback, so I caution there. But that was on the list down here, DFEN. And let's see, Snow. Let's see how Snow's doing. Just grinding here. Grinding, grinding, grinding. We've kind of been grinding in place since back here in June. Tried to pop, tried to drop. Nothing really cooking, but upside, middle of my target up at 290. Then we may experience a bigger retrace after we do that. So could get up to 320 though. Like if you look at this 1618, if we're gonna be super bullish here, could get to that 320, then pull back, then go even higher. I've got one share of that I bought back here at 100. Kind of sitting on it. I bought some options and played them, and then I'm out for now on leverage, waiting for more clarity on what's going to happen next. See, Reddit could use a pullback. Take two. Riding the EA sugar hype. Right there, looks like. Better Homes and Finance. That party can come back down. Kellanova. Man, there's a chaotic looking. So look at that. We pulled back, popped up to the 1272 and just stopped. And we did another pullback here to the break, to the gap, basically. Potentially push on up to 87, maybe. Next big major upside, 93 there. Let's see. This looks pretty good to go on out to 139. Could benefit from FCX having problems with their largest mine. I don't want to talk about all these. MU taking a little resty here. Earnings, nothing burger. Target up here at 200. The yen might actually pop out. TEM. I'm bullish on this, but it doesn't mean we won't come back to the roadmap line again. TER. Broke through the downtrend. That could go higher. Let's see. Other ones. CSIQ. Smaller player here. This could be good for a pop. Right up here. DLTR. I got put this finally. Giving up a little bit here. Push a little deeper. No, nothing burger for me so far. Now, it could come down here. Like this is possible. Come on down here before we bounce. Likely to continue on up. So another thing to look at, how deep did we pull back here versus right now? Got a little bit more to go to 90. Looking for that to hold in that area and then turn higher. Now it could come down here. So just be prepared on that one if you got put those shares. Let's see, another one I'm playing. Blam. Gone. Love it. Tempest AI. Oh yeah, Soundhound. That's the other one. Playing this one pretty aggressively too. Got through the 618. Probably setting up to going up to 30, 29, 30. Playing this one pretty aggressively. Yeah. S&P going on out. Beautiful. Dreamer, come back to me. MDB pausing underneath the 618. That can be a danger sign. Baidu. Yeah, it looks like we're done on the rest. And big resistance up here at 193. If we push through that orange zone right there at those prior highs. And I'm not doing anything with CMG, just holding. I got options sold for months out. NEM, watch out for that at the top. These are things I'm rotating currently. If you need an update on CMG, you should go join TTL. And the plan's been in place for CMG for a long time and nothing's changed. CWeb, right there's resistance. This is a 2x bull on KWeb basically. Leverage Eaton CWeb versus KWeb. Actually pushing out. CoreWeave. This is a cautionary point to turn down. If we can get through it, though, get through this prior high, we can go on out, but very cautious here. VRT. And just churning. Bloom Energy. Getting to be ridiculous levels here. 121. PDD. My 180 target may finally play out. Been looking for that for like 2 years. I don't have any exposure except KWeb, but and let's see. There's defense, JobX, leverage, leverage, leverage. Tips AI. I like this one. This one pays a ridiculous premium. I rolled forward. So I sold this last week. I think I have 81 strike. I think it's at 81. Okay. Yeah. We were up here last week. Like this was like 2 weeks back. 2 weeks back. We're up here. I sold the 81 last week on Friday. We were down here putting that 82 strike in trouble, or 81 strike. I don't remember which one it is. I don't have it on my platform. It's in a retirement account. I can't just pull that up easy. I think it's 81 strike. I rolled it forward for $2 credit. The options here just ridiculous. 3.2 beta. Yeah, I think I'm at the 81 strike. Rolled it forward for $2. $2 more credit. Got $1.30 more credit going out to the 10th at this point. It's wild. Let's see, PLTR. That could be done correcting. 196 on the upside and support down at 135. That's a big fat zone. DDOG. If we can get through that 618 zone there, sets up the 161 upside. There weren't very many decliners. Kala, that looks pretty bad. INTW. CHH. Wow. Look at that, beautiful. Right off the 50% retrace and down to the abyss. Could be done, but maybe not. Down to 100 would be, I would expect us to get continuation down here at this point. And NVO. And we haven't gap filled that one yet. If we don't hold this low, this can come on down. That was 3 waves up. It can go lower low. Be cautious on that one. All right, stuff with a roadmap. Bounce, setup, 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 setup. Yeah, I don't like that one. I know what it picked. It picked this move right here, which technically is valid, but I see this right here, and I'm like, I really don't like that downtrend when all the price action's underneath the roadmap line. HI. So here's the high, here's the low. There's the entry and 27 targets. Let's see the statistics on this baby. Not the best. Roll. High, we get that low. 59. We got VTYX. And target at 356. That's under $10, so be careful there. And as far as bias for the day, let's look at it. I will be on Market Masters 11:30. In case anybody wants to come hang out, prosperitypub.com/marketmasters. We'll talk about open trades and managing things and whatever. So where we're going today, we've got a floor kind of down here at 66.50 and probably resistance at 6,700. If we can get through 6,700, 67.18, 67.35 on the upside. So I kind of expect us to stay in here today. We could break out, but I don't really expect it in a big way right now. For the rest of today, we may just, we may have already set the range and we just kind of grind up a little bit. Could revisit down here, but doesn't seem very likely. And then tomorrow and the next day, we might be on, kind of expect by the end of the week, we'd be up here, especially with a close above the 618 today. Now, if for some reason we get below this, probably going down here into October. Right there. I don't expect big moves before Wednesday, really. And we could, but I just don't really expect it. So it's kind of my bias right now, what I'm expecting going into October. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Hunt for stuff moving. Try to find some opportunities, ways to make money. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.